Okay, this is 373, week 4, part 6. I went looking for a clip online and I couldn't find it. And then I was like, well, I guess if I can't find it, I won't tell them about it. I have these clips on my hard drive. I don't want to upload them to YouTube because I'm afraid if I get hit with a copyright infringement, then I can't even be a teacher anymore because they'll take away my YouTube account. But I thought I could find it online. I can't find it. And I was like, maybe I won't tell them about it. And then I was like, no, it's too interesting. I got to tell them about it. So I'm just going to tell you about it. It's a bad movie. It's not a good movie. It's like a shitty 1970s, like, stage production of Macbeth that was filmed. Anyway, it's not great. But there's this in the scene where Macbeth is shouting at the ghost of Banquo, hence unreal mockery, hence, hence. They decided not to have an actor play Banquo. He's shouting in an empty chair. All of his dinner guests are, of course, horrified because he's yelling. Their king is insane, which is not good. That's not what you want to hear, is that your new king sees things that aren't there. Actually, I forgot to mention, Lady Macbeth has a great line in that scene. I should go back and get it. Oh, shit. I should definitely go back and get it. It's really funny. Oh, man, it's like too far away. Oh, I turned too many pages. What the fuck? Oh, I messed up my whole system. Lady Macbeth says, I gotta find. I'm sorry, I fucked this up. I really want to tell you. Macbeth says to him when he's freaking out, and then he tries to be normal again, and he says, "I have a strange infirmity," which is nothing to those that know me. Like, ooh, I don't think your king like screaming and yelling at the ghost is like really good. And then Lady Macbeth says something else at the dinner. It's like the worst dinner party in history, and she says, "Think of this, good peers, but as a thing of custom." Like, oh, it's okay. It's a normal thing. It happens all the time. Don't worry about it. Like, if your king is seeing shit that's not there, that is very worrying. It's not going to make me feel better. Anyway, in the scene, Macbeth is screaming at the empty chair. He sees a ghost. No one else sees a ghost. The audience does not see a ghost. And all the people at the table are so freaked out, but they're all staring at Macbeth because he's yelling and screaming. If you look elsewhere on the stage, you will see Lady Macbeth off to the side. And Lady Macbeth is staring at that chair like this. And then she goes over to Macbeth and she says, "There's nothing there. You look but upon a stool, like it's empty. Don't worry about it." But if you look at her face in that scene, the actress, this is not, nowhere in Shakespeare does it say to do this, but the actress has made an interesting decision. And I say this because I want you to be aware of the decisions that actors and directors make when they put Shakespeare on stage. There are different ways. There's not a correct way to do it. So Macbeth is the only person who says in words that he sees the ghost. Lady Macbeth says she does not see the ghost. She says, when all you look at an empty chair, like, don't worry about it. But in this particular stage adaptation, when he is ranting and screaming, everyone is staring at that empty chair. Everyone in the room is staring at him. And Lady Macbeth is off over to the side, looking at that fucking chair like this. That actress has made a decision, and it's kind of amazing. That actress has decided Lady Macbeth also sees the ghost. It's just that she holds her shit together and can act calm. And so she tells him there's nothing there to calm him down, but she knows there is something there. Now, is that correct? No. Is it incorrect? No. Shakespeare didn't say she doesn't see the ghost. He doesn't say she does see the ghost. She just doesn't say that she sees the ghost. And this actress made an unusual decision to to say that her Lady Macbeth and her version of the story, that you go see, if she's the actress, she sees the ghost. She just keeps shit wired tight. It's just a really neat decision on the part of the actress, and I kind of love it. Okay, cool. This is going really well. Now I have to turn a bunch of pages to find out where we're going next with all this stuff. Okay. I turned too many pages. Macbeth kills children, blah, 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 blah. Okay, sorry about that. Sorry, everybody. Don't be mad. Skipping that. Coming back to that later. Oh boy. Okay, we're at this part now. All right. So, this is opening the kind of a big final section of Macbeth that I want to talk about. I don't think we'll have time to finish it this week necessarily, but I will pick it up soon. What I want to look at next is the scene where Macduff, who is Macbeth's enemy, Macduff finds out that his wife and children have been killed. Now, the movie does something, and again, talk about different movies, do interpretations of things. It's a famous Shakespeare question that no one really has the answer to. Remember when Macduff is at the dinner party and he leaves with his beautiful tall wife, Elizabeth Debicki? And Macbeth is pissed off. Like, he knows, like, why is that guy leaving? He's not allowed to leave early, and he leaves early. In the play, there's something very strange. That little problem that directors and actors often try to solve, and I think they probably should solve it. But what happens in the play is that Macduff leaves Scotland to join the rebellion against Macbeth. Malcolm, the king's son, has Scotland's a different country north of England. Malcolm, the king's son, has fled to England because he feels like if he sticks around, he's going to get killed, like his dad. And he's building an army there to come back at the end of the movie and fucking invade. Macduff leaves Scotland to join the rebellion, and he does something really strange. He ditches his wife and children. He just leaves. We didn't even really tell him. He just heads off to join the rebellion in England, and he leaves his wife and children at home alone. And his wife specifically has a speech that is not in the movie where she's like, "What the fuck is wrong with that guy that he just left me and his kids here by ourselves? But he just ditches them to join the rebellion. He doesn't even seem to. He just ditches them." Now, in the movie, they solve this, and you'll notice there's no dialogue. But in the movie, he silently puts them on a horse and silently sends them off, and then silently they all get captured, and then they all get burned at the stake. So it's like he was trying to save them and they got caught. But actually, in the play, he doesn't try to save them at all. He just joins the rebellion and doesn't seem to give a shit about his wife and children. Now, it's possible that he doesn't give a shit about them. It's possible also that he knows Macbeth is a bad king, but doesn't know how bad. Like, he thinks Macbeth is a bad king, like Macbeth would try to kill Macduff. But he doesn't realize that Macbeth is so bad, he would slaughter women and children. And so he is surprised to find out that his wife and child have been killed. He goes to join Malcolm, and then a messenger arrives to tell him that his wife and child are dead. And the scene is on page 19, and you get the whole story. Ross, and again, Ross is just one of those dudes. I don't care about him. Your castle is surprised. Your wife and babes savagely slaughtered. To relate the manner, we're on the quarry of these murdered deer to add the death of you. A quarry is like a big pile of dead animals. So he says, like, your whole family's dead. And if I told you how they died, you would die on the spot. They're all stabbed to death. They're burned to death in the movie, but they're all stabbed in the play. I mean, I get it. Movies are visual, and the fire is very beautiful. And also you just get tired of watching people get stabbed, so they wanted to go for some variation. I actually don't hate it. I think it works pretty good. Macduff is obviously very upset about this. He's upset, and he pulls his hat down over his sort of head. And Malcolm, the king's son, says, "Merciful heaven, what men ne'er pull your hat upon your brows, give sorrow words. The grief that does not speak whispers the o'er-fraught heart and bids it break." So Malcolm actually gives Macduff right there some pretty good advice. He says, you got to speak. If you hold this pain in your heart, it'll break. Your heart will break and you'll die. But you got to speak. Give your sorrow words, and that will help you. It's kind of a nice little detail. This is, by the way, the entire point of therapy, that you need to talk to somebody about your problems, because if you keep them inside, they will destroy you. And Macduff can't quite believe it. So he asks that question, my children too? Children, servants, all that could be found. And I must be from hence, my wife killed too? I have said, because they were all killed after he left. And he didn't know about it, and now this guy's come to tell him. Be comforted. Malcolm says, be comforted. Let's make medicines of our great revenge to cure this deadly grief. So he says, listen, because their whole plan out there is they have an army that they borrowed from England, and Malcolm wants Macduff. Malcolm is the prince, and he should be the king, but he doesn't really know anything about being a soldier. He needs Macduff to kind of lead the army. So he says to Macduff, like, listen, be comforted. We got an army. We're going to go get him. If your heart is breaking, let the medicine for your heartbreak be revenge. But he has trouble snapping Macduff out of it. It's not that easy. Macduff isn't just like, okay, I'll get revenge. He's still stuck on the same thing. He says, let's do revenge. And Macduff says he has no children. All my pretty ones? Did you say all? Oh, hell kite. All my pretty chickens in their dam at one fell swoop. By the way, if you've ever heard the phrase one fell swoop before, meaning all at once, this is the first time anybody said that. Shakespeare invented the phrase one fell swoop. All right, I'll pick this up in the next video. Yeah.